Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. Hello. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Genius. I'm your humble host, Alex Baer, CEO and founder of Genius Juice. We bring on amazing guests to the show. We bring on people that started their own brands. They're brokers. They're entrepreneurs. These two individuals, they make a great duo. They have different businesses apart, but together, forces combined, more powerful than apart. So they have their own podcast as well, which easily rivals this one. I think they're actually here to do an acquisition of 15 Minutes of Genius and roll it up into their podcast. But before introducing them, this is going to be winging it this entire episode. Before introducing them, I want to make a big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N. at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. There he is, fresh off his late lunch at 6:30 p.m. at night. He's fueled up, ready to go. There he is. So he's the king of the castle. He is the Oz behind the curtain, except there's no curtain there. He really does a great job running the show. So if you ever want to have your own podcast and you don't want to do it from home with Zoom, you want to inconvenience yourself and drive through traffic to do a podcast, this is the guy to talk to. Okay? So inconvenience, more time, but at least you get a great backdrop and great production value. So there you go. All right. So our guest, without further ado, two guys, when you combine their names, it combines to the word jerk. They're not jerks, though, so it's counterintuitive. They have their own podcast, which is the JIRK Podcast. We were on episode 3. I think they're on episode 6 or 7 by now, and it's becoming really successful and getting traction. That's at least what I think. So Kirk Visola, he is the creative director and founder of Mind the Font, and Jeremy Smith, who has the brand or the company Launchpad that helps brands launch into Costco and other club stores. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for not fucking up my introduction. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I pretty much fucked it all up beforehand when I was practicing, but I somehow, through a miracle, through channeling, someone, a great inspirational speaker, I was able to do it right. So there you go.
There you go.
Which one was a better intro?
Waiting.
Was it for Jeremy or Kirk?
Know.
I don't know. Okay.
For me, for sure.
I don't know.
Because Jeremy's company's Launchpad Group USA.
So I messed that one up.
Kind of left off the last part.
Jeremy, go ahead, man.
Right. It doesn't matter to me. I was just waiting to hear what the genius is, but I guess we'll get to that in the 17 minutes of genius.
Exactly. We're going to go way overtime on this. I think it's going to be 15 minutes for each person on this podcast, Genius, which totals 45 minutes. So let's do it.
There you go.
All right. All right. Good night, everyone. All right. So let's get into it. You guys have, I want to get into the podcast first. I want to start I want to back into the history, what you guys are doing now, but let's get into the podcast, the JIRK. By the way, Jeremy, you're off camera. I can see your right ear. There we go. So
there you go. Just stay still. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
I'm sorry.
Stop moving.
I'm trying to watch the Dodger game.
Priorities.
I think Jeremy is only going to be interviewed during the commercial breaks during the Dodger game.
I like it. You want entertainment? 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Honestly, man, we shouldn't be even doing the show during the Dodger game. That's a capital punishment in LA right now. All right. So did they win last night or lose?
They lost.
So it's 3-1, right?
They lost.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Well, once the Dodgers lose and they're out, then you can come back on the podcast, right? All right. Let's get into it. Talk about the podcast. Jeremy, you're watching the game. So Kirk, your mind is more focused on this conversation. But Jeremy, you can jump in whenever you want. We're here for you. So talk about your podcast, the JIRK Podcast. What is it all about? What is the foundation? What makes you guys different for this? Go.
Well, Jeremy and I met through various channels and just got hooked up that way. And we worked together with a client and became fast friends. So all the time on LinkedIn, we're always interacting and stuff. And it just came out, hey, let's do a podcast. It's like, yeah, I would love to do that. I used to do a podcast and it'd be great. So we were thinking and brainstorming, and it was Jeremy and Kirk. So that makes JIRK. So I made JIRK's Podcast. And the whole idea for us is just to tackle anything that we see out there, whether it's food, branding, or culture. So anything that goes along the lines or tackles the lines of food, we talk about. Our first episode was about Expo East. So in Expo East, we were talking about how we didn't think it was right having people there for the mandate, and we had a great conversation about that. And then the second episode, we had I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was like Alex Bucher or something.
I thought it was episode 3.
Like that,
I was episode 3.
Were you episode 3? Okay. So there you go. I even fucked that up. But the whole idea is just go in there and we talk, have honest conversation, open conversation. And we're not going to pull any punches. We're not going to do the whole rah thing. Like, you told us your journey with Genius, and it's amazing. All the stuff you had to go through in order to get where you are today, and you're still building even after setbacks. So that's what we wanted to get into. We wanted to get into the real of what makes companies do what they do and how they function, entrepreneurs, and also running about culture, different things like with Dave Chappelle and John Gruden. Last week we had a really open conversation about that. And that's all we do. Yeah, I love it. Jeremy, you have anything to add?
Yes. The Dodgers just scored. No, I'm just kidding. So no, what I wanted to say is that part of my frustration with the food and beverage industry is that most of the podcasts, like Taste Radio, are basically PR shows. And, Taste Radio, they do a good job at it, but you don't learn anything when people are telling the same story over and over again. Oh, yeah, I'm in 12,452 million stores nationally.
That's a lot of stores.
They're selling $1 a week and at best, but they don't talk about that. And so, it's the same story over and over again, just a different brand. So we try and get people to really talk about, what was, like we did with you, what were the hardships, so that people can learn something from it, from, the stories of other entrepreneurs. And we're going to hold people accountable. And we talk a lot about in our pre-interviews with guests that we don't tell them all the questions we're going to ask them, like a lot of the other podcasts do. We were going to surprise them with a few questions and see how they react to it. But we also want to make sure they understand the risk that, you're going to really be raw on the show, and you're going to tell, how you built your brand. But we also want to know what your struggles were, what VC firm pissed you off. And because you'll never read about that in the trades, every VC firm in BevManet and all those magazines, they're all fantastic. They give everybody money, especially if you're a person of color who are so underfunded. Yes. It's ridiculous. But no one wants to talk about that because it doesn't sell magazines or digital subscriptions. So that's what we talk about. And then sometimes we talk about culture, and we are going to really talk about design and how horrible some of the packaging design is by brands, and what it means. What does good design mean? So we talk about all the shit that we're able to talk about.
I love it. It's kind of like
all I got.
All you got. Back to the Dodger game.
Perfect.
No, it's really it's really awesome. It's awesome because you're putting the entrepreneur on the hot seat in a good way. And honestly, we've talked about it before. Authenticity, sharing the real story, what actually happened. People identify with that because life is it's hard. Being an entrepreneur, It's hard. Raising capital, very hard. Creating a brand that people actually want and will buy off the shelf, very difficult. 95% of all brands, we have interviews. I would predict, hopefully all the brands that I interview on this show are going to be around in 5 years, but I don't think that's the case. There's going to be a lot that are going to go by the wayside. They're going to give up. They're going to get burned out. They're going to run out of money, whatever it may be. So hearing the raw, real, authentic story, I think allows people to connect human to human a lot better. So I love that you guys are doing that. And by the way, this is a PR for you guys, but the difference is this is really fucking real. So...
Yeah, see, look at that. The biggest thing that people have to also think about is when you're building a brand, and I'm speaking basically entrepreneur-splaining to you. You need to be genuine people. You need to have actual story. in order for them to get into and to believe in. So they have to believe in your brand, and people know when you're bullshitting. Like, they know. They're not going to fall for any gimmicks you may have, or they're not going to fall for being pandered to. And we're not going to be those dudes that get on there and, oh, hey, yeah, it's great. We're going to have real conversations. And I have these conversations every time I'm on a podcast or talk to people, the myriad times per week that I have to do it because I'm so great. Now I'm fucking with you. But when I talk to people, I always talk this way to them. There's no script. I'm open. I talk to my mom like this. And it's great because my main job is to basically, get her to trip up or to laugh. Like, that's what I'm trying to do with my mom, just messing with her the whole time. I talk to my friend Andy Kurtz. He's also another designer from Buttermilk Creative, and amazing dude, amazing designer. We just had a talk today on Instagram talking about packaging. And I love the idea of running these different panels with people and different ideas of people, because whenever I talk, I'm always going to speak from the heart, and I'm always going to be genuine, authentic. This is who I am. It's not a facade. Like, I'll talk to everybody this way. And I think Jeremy's the same way. Jeremy's going to just shoot it straight, tell you how it is. And even if our opinions aren't the same, we have a good conversation. I feel we both come to a better understanding about what the other's thinking and move forward. Like, there's never any bad blood between us, and he's a straight shooter, and I love that. I don't want to be, what I say, I can bullshit with you, but I'm not a bullshitter, right? Like, I'll shoot the shit, whatever, but I'm not going to lie to you about stuff that's not necessary, or aggrandize things, or, always be out there winning, killing it out there, crushing it. We're not always crushing it. We're always just telling the truth. So that's the great thing about JIRK's podcast.
Yep. One thing I'll echo on that is, there's so much struggle out there. Entrepreneurs connect with others when they hear about the struggles. I mean, I was recently that guy, Alex JIRK or whatever. I forget how you pronounce my last name, but episode 3, not episode 2. But one thing I shared.
My bad.
No, it's all good, man. I mean, I could have taken you mispronouncing my last name, but saying the wrong episode number, that's just too much. It's too much.
Or you could argue over what day Friday is.
Exactly. Is it this Friday? Is it next Friday? Yeah, well, that's a whole inside joke. But literally, like, what I shared on your podcast actually got me very emotional. Like, I was actually, like, after I did it, was able to kind of vent that and share it, because I don't share it that much in interviews. I don't really share it publicly. So to really give that platform to the entrepreneur to be real, to be raw, it's almost cathartic. And you, like, kind of relive those moments and realize, like, how far we've come, how far I've come, and all these things I've really been able to conquer and get over those hills and those tough hurdles. That was really beautiful for me to share that on there, and it felt good. And I'll say that I got emails after, probably more than any podcast I've ever done, where I got emails and texts or LinkedIn, messaging, all the same thing, just people messaging me. And they were saying, like, man, I never knew that you sold your condo to keep Genius Juice going. I never knew that you liquidated your SEP IRA, to pay for a production run. These are the real stories where you break yourself down and grow to be even stronger by going through these really gut-wrenching experiences. And you grow stronger, or stranger, as the Joker says. Yeah. So What else? What else do you guys want to chat about?
Well, honestly, man, I'm personally honored. And I could see when you were telling that story, you were reliving that shit. Like, it was just pouring out of you like a revelation. You had this euphoric moment of where you were just talking to us. And it felt really good. It felt really good to hear you say that story, because people need, and like you said, people reached out to you afterwards just because they are feeling the same thing, or they've had to go through shit too. Fake book is my favorite thing. Everybody paints a perfect picture, a pretty picture online, and they want it to be like this best thing and this perfect thing. Like the person will take 80 pictures to post one picture, right? But that's not real. That's not real life. And I think that's part of the authenticity that you have, man. It was very cool to see, and very cool to witness you telling us that story, because I don't know half the shit you guys have to go through. My biggest asset is my talent and time, which is a lot, but I don't have to go out and buy a $40,000 printer or $100,000 printer if I want to be a printer too, or something like that. Like, my job goes with me everywhere. I have a little laptop. and that can go with me anywhere I want, and I can do my work from anywhere. So I can do it from the back of a van if I decide to, liquidate my PlayStation 5 and my 2009 Toyota Yaris. I can live and go buy a little van and be like, fully living down by the river and just do my design work and stuff. That's perfect. But yeah, man. Jeremy, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, just how much I enjoy hanging out with you and doing the episodes and being part of the industry. It's a lot of fun. No, I'm bored. What I wanted to say is we're also going to talk on a future episode. I'm going to share more insights into some of the buyers at Costco, and I'm going to play Dr. Phil and diagnose how fucked up some of them are, and how rude some of them are. And then others are perfect angels. So we're going to talk about that because I think there is especially on LinkedIn, there's an idolization problem with brands thinking that buyers are the be all end all. And they forget that the consumer is the ultimate decider of who wins in the marketplace, not the buyer. The buyer can bring you in and your product just sits on the shelf and you die a quick, painful death like most brands that buy $20,000 booths at Expo West, which is why Expo West always collects their money up front because they know you're probably not going to make it. But they don't discuss that. But anyway, so I think it's important for people to understand the psychology of some of the buyers and how some of the buyers mistreat the brands. And I've stood up to the buyers, and I'm going to share some of those stories, as I said, on a podcast, and live to, live another day. And I wasn't shunned by any of the Costco buyers except for one, but thank God she's no longer there. But I'm going to share those kind of painful stories of some of the stuff that's unfair that goes on at different retailers.
Yeah, these are all stories that you hear privately, but most people, they're like most brand owners, they kind of bite their tongue, right, when they have a bad experience with a buyer. And they go, oh, well, that's just business. I love how you're calling out these people, Jeremy. Like you are calling them out, which is awesome. So, and
well, thanks. I appreciate that.
And I think either Kirk is sleeping or he's frozen.
Or he was arrested. I don't know.
Arrested.
Kirk?
So
I think he's frozen.
Okay. Well, why don't you carry the episode? Because you've been the one talking the entire time anyway, right? You're not just
really?
sitting there. You're not just sitting there watching a Dodgers game, staying quiet. You're talking. So
yeah, no, I actually don't have the Dodger game on right now, but I switched over to YouTube TV, and you can actually watch the games on your iPhone or your laptop or whatever you may have, and it's really cool. And there's no cable box. And so I enjoy having the ability to do that. But I wasn't really watching the Dodger game. I was watching the Dodger game prior to coming onto this podcast. But, and I do want to thank you as well for coming on our podcast, onto JIRKs, and really being as open as you are. Because, I've had so many people call me afterward.
There we go.
Oh, holy shit.
He's back. All right.
He's back.
I think, normally we would edit this out. We're going to keep this in. We're going to keep this in. We accidentally went to our next.
Again.
All right. Well,
see, this picture of Kirk is his reaction to watching Dave Chappelle on Netflix. That's his exact reaction after he finished watching whatever it was called, The Closer, The Schmuck. I don't know what Netflix called it, but
who even knows these days?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get it.
Closer something.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's get into our next segment here while we wait for Kirk to get back, because we can't waste any more time. Kirk, hopefully you come back to us. We're not going to edit anything out. We witnessed the entire process of you morphing into someone else and then morphing back. Here's our next segment: rapid fire questions.
Rapid fire questions.
Okay. And by the way,
Sandy Koufax. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sandy Koufax, he hasn't played for years, has he? Is he on the team still? All right. We're going to go through.
Associated.
Got it. It feels almost like, never mind. I won't go into that reference point. A really funny talk show, which I won't even mention which one it is. So, all right. I'll ask you a bunch of questions. If Kirk happens to hop on at any point, he can also answer these. But I'm going to ask you. All right. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay. We're going to get some honest responses here. For music, we're going to get some JIRK honest responses. For music, which decade is best, the 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Well, I actually think it's neither of those decades, but since you gave me those options, what were the first two?
Or we can go for
70s?
we can go for the kind of Depression era, the 20s.
I think the grunge era
30s.
was the best, but with Nirvana and Audio Slave and Sound, all of those bands. But if I only could have those options, then I'll go with the 70s.
Got it. Okay. Kirk, welcome back.
Hey, I'm here.
Yes, we didn't cut any of it. There's no editing here. Our next guest accidentally hopped on in your box. Oh, did he freeze again? Okay, at least I think that's probably the best facial expression that we've seen from him, frozen. Right, Jeremy? They're fighting it here. They're both frozen.
Am I messing it up? Do I need to go?
No, you're good. You're up now. I'm going to keep going with the questions, okay? Here we go.
Okay.
This is going to be the funniest unedited episode ever. You were replaced 3 times by a woman in the box. So, all right. What do you do?
I don't mind that. We need more powerful women.
I don't mind the font, and I don't mind having alternate guests on. And look at Jeremy. He looks like the cover of some horror movie, right, where his face is all blurred out. There he's back. There he is. That nice smile.
Did you just figure out that Kirk and I are the same people and we can't appear on at the same time?
You guys are so connected where you both have the same technical fuck ups at the same time. So congratulations.
Only mom can tell us apart. Yeah, only mom can tell us apart.
That's it. Yeah. All right.
Danny DeVito twins.
All right, gentlemen, we got to get this finished before I kick you off. So what do you do? This is rapid fire questions. I'm going to alternate between the two of you as long as you don't get frozen. So Jeremy answered the first question. Which decade of music is best? 70s. Second question to you, Kirk. What do you do for exercise?
I go for walks. I go for walks with my wife. Usually go up a hill. I used to lift.
Why is he laughing so hard? This is an actual question. I'm not making a shit up.
It was a fat joke.
I'm surprised you had to remember the question. Go ahead, sorry.
It was a tough one.
It's a tough one. Yeah, I think that would be 15. That's 15 minutes of answering one question. That's our podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Thing, man, is I used to.
Is that Tabasco sauce, Jeremy? Is that what you're drinking? It looks like a red bottle.
Watermelon water.
Water? They're still in business? Okay, cool.
Yeah, they got bought.
Yeah. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times. Jeremy, go.
Without a doubt, The Godfather.
The Godfather, part 1.
Part 1 and 2 together in unlimited amount of times.
Okay, while eating pasta and breadsticks. Unlimited breadsticks and garlic bread and whatever at Olive Garden, right?
And exercise.
I can see you at Olive Garden with unlimited breadsticks with your iPad.
I hate the fucking Olive Garden. Don't give me the fucking Olive Garden. Fuck, that wouldn't be my last meal. I'd kill myself if I was on death row and they brought me the Olive Garden.
If that was your last meal, that wouldn't be good. All right, not a good way to go out. All right, Kirk.
Yeah.
This is a question, and we talked about this offline. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Flavors. Vanilla. Okay. Favorite country to travel to? Jeremy, go.
Norway.
Norway. I thought you were going to say Norwalk.
What's up with my stupid ass questions?
Okay.
What the fuck, dude?
You don't know, dude. You're gonna get a great
favorite ice cream?
No, I didn't say it's
You
flavor.
got ice cream and exercise.
It's flavor. Any flavor. All right. You got a great Kirk. You got a great question coming up. You got a great question. This is real.
Right.
Favorite Star Wars character.
Ooh.
Fuck. Dude, that's tough, man. It's a coin flip between Vader and Maul, but it has to be Vader.
Vader, man. All
just
the way.
because, Darth Vader.
Was it kind of deflating when he took off his mask in Return of the Jedi? Where you're like, that's him, or was it cool?
It was weird because that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But it kind of ties in well because he was like this disfigured person who
Frail,
got harmed, and
sad.
The suit's keeping him alive, right. So, no, my son.
Yeah. All right. Take off my mask so I can see you with my own.
Help me take off this mask.
No.
I can't do James Earl Jones.
Remember, like the new one, they have the no part. I walked out of the theater after that. I'm like, I'm glad I got some good popcorn here. That was the only thing that was good. All right.
Right.
Jeremy, what is your spirit animal?
Oh, without a doubt, that one is easy. The dog.
The dog.
Dogs.
Okay.
I love dogs.
Kirk, do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, a truck, or a Toyota Yaris? Because you said that.
Oh, man. I'd have to go. So my favorite vehicle is a Toyota 4Runner, so I'd have to go with the 4Runner.
4Runner. All
So
right.
I started driving, or the Yaris. I call him Bert. It's a little light blue car. He's Bert. So
Bert. Okay.
good old Bert.
And then Jeremy drives Ernie. All right, for food, Jeremy, salty or sweet?
Well, who wouldn't want them both together? But I would lean towards sweet.
All right, good stuff. Favorite day of the week and why, Kirk?
Friday. Oh, sorry.
Friday. Next Friday, right? Not this Friday.
I would have to say, okay, so for my personal, it's going to be Saturday. That's my personal day. For work, it's Monday. Because here's what it is. Nobody wants to do anything on Mondays. Like, everybody's like, oh, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. Oh, let's not do anything on Monday. So Monday, to me, is like a perfect day. So here's how it goes for days. Monday, you have, like, nothing really happens. Tuesday,
This is not rapid fire question anymore. All right, go ahead.
People are kind of getting into it, and they're kind of getting to their day. And Wednesday, everything's full steam. They're really on their track. Thursday, no one's thinking about it because they're looking forward to Friday. And Friday is actually the worst day of the work week because everybody starts sending off fucking emails at 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, trying to squeeze in all the shit that they messed up on the week before. So Friday is actually the worst day of the week when it comes to work. So there, rapid fire.
15 minutes of answering one question by Kirk. All right. Uber or Lyft? Jeremy.
Hate them both, but I lean towards Lyft because they didn't try and misogynize all their employees.
I was going to say Lyft because I make more money driving Lyft than I do with Uber. Wait, did I just say that? All right. Kirk, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Kobe?
Fuck. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 would be Mike, LeBron, Kobe.
Got it. Jeremy, Terminator 1, or Terminator 2?
I love 2.
Yes.
2 is the perfect action movie.
It's perfect in
It
every
still holds
way.
up.
Every way. Great special effects. Great characters. Great, he's a freaking cop, and he's the bad guy, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is the badass who's the good guy. My favorite scene in that movie, gives me goosebumps to this day, is when they first meet each other or like fight against each other in the hallway at the Galleria, where he's coming around the corner.
Oh, yes.
Arnold Schwarzenegger takes the shotgun out, and then the roses fall on the ground.
Roses.
Guns N' Roses, right? Like the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Then he just goes, get down. And I'm just like, that's so awesome.
Was that shot at the Sherman Oaks Galleria?
That was at the Glendale Galleria.
So.
Glendale.
Oh, Glendale.
Okay.
I just remember the cop saying when he was looking for John Connor, the Galleria? All right. Last question. This is for both of you. Favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island? Cannot say Genius Juice. You cannot say watermelon water.
Damn it.
Go.
Oh.
Both of you.
You go first, Kirk.
Pizza for food.
Okay. Jeremy?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's food?
Food or beverage?
Food or beverage.
I'm sorry?
Food or
Food
beverage?
or beverage. If it's a beverage, it would be without a doubt watermelon water. But you said I can't say that, so I'm just trying to be honest with people.
So watermelon water's out. What's your next choice?
Water.
Water without the watermelon. Okay, got it.
Exactly. Take out the lime, take out the watermelon, and you got water.
There you go, water. All right, guys. So that is rapid fire questions with Kirk Visola, Jeremy Smith, Launchpad Group USA, Mind the Font. You guys are awesome. This has probably been the most epic episode. # no editing required. Thank you, guys. Episode 112. Any final words for us? One sentence. How about you did this on the podcast for JIRK Podcast. Name a quote or recite a quote that you both love and that you live by. Jeremy, go.
Unfortunately, there are a lot of them. So I would have to say that one of my favorite is, it's a little bit of a long one. Only as a spiritual warrior can one withstand the path of knowledge. A warrior cannot complain or regret anything. His life is an endless challenge, and challenges cannot possibly be good or bad. Challenges are simply challenges.
Love it.
That's
actually really good.
Quote.
It's long, but good.
Yeah.
Kirk?
Yeah. I'm actually gonna give the stanza from Macbeth. Tomorrow creeps. I'm kidding. My favorite quote is one from one of the coolest, smartest, and most influential men in my life, my father. I would like to buy you for what you're worth and sell you for what you think you're worth.
Whoa. I may not sleep tonight.
That is a thinker. That is a thinker right there, man. Wow. I'm going to get that engraved on my back wall behind, for my Zoom meetings and all that. All right,
That's
guys.
for all you mediocre bastards out there trying to sell yourself, think you're better than you are. But anyway, yeah.
There we go. It's the counterintuitive of what most people say, right? Which I love. You're shaking it up.
Yep.
All right, guys. Episode 112, the JIRK Podcast. Make sure to tune in. Launchpad Group USA. Mind the Gap. Mind the Font. I knew I was going to screw that up. Make sure to check them out on Google. Search on Google. They might be beat out by a competitor that's paying more per ad, so they're above them. But still, just try to find them in the feed. Thank you guys for joining us on 112 of 15 Minutes of Genius. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy the Dodger game. All right, so that is episode 112. Wow, that was interesting. When you bring these guys on, you never know what the hell is going to happen. So, again, episode 112 in the books. One big last plug for Mark Nicholas, Mark and ManhattanBeachStudios.net. He is your guy. Make sure to contact him for editing, photo, video, the whole deal. One last thing. Stay genius, my friend. Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.